The medieval period, stretching roughly from the 5th to the 15th century, began with the collapse of the Roman Empire in 476 CE, which fragmented Europe into smaller, localized kingdoms. While political instability followed, the Christian Church emerged as a unifying force. This led to the dominance of sacred music, primarily created for use in liturgy and religious ceremonies. Because the human voice was considered the most divine instrument for worship, vocal music, especially chant, was the most prevalent in this time period. Gregorian chant was not actually invented by Pope Gregory. He did, however, help standardize chant over many different European regions of the Catholic Church. Early medieval chant was monophonic, meaning it featured a single melodic line without accompaniment. The use of melodic modes, or specific sets of pitches, created atmospheric melodies that were meant to reflect their sacred setting. Music was notated using a system of notes called neumes. Guido de Arezzo, a monk and theorist in the 11th century, is credited with the creation of solfege, a system of syllables that represent pitches, which revolutionized the teaching of music and allowed for greater ease in learning. He also introduced a more precise form of staff notation which replaced the early pneumatic system and provided a clearer method of writing down chant, allowing it to be standardized and transmitted more easily across regions. By the 12th and 13th centuries, music began to evolve. Polyphony, the use of two or more independent melodies performed simultaneously, began to emerge. Early examples of polyphonic music were called organum, where one voice would sing the original chant and another would add a second, harmonizing line. This marked the beginning of a new musical complexity. Léonin and Perrotin, both associated with the Notre Dame school in Paris, contributed to these developments in polyphonic music. At the same time, Hildegard von Bingen, a Benedictine abbess, mystic, and composer, made a profound contribution to sacred music. Her compositions were unlike the typical Gregorian chant of the time, with more expansive melodies and greater emotional depth. Hildegard's works were often centered around visions and spirituality, reflecting her unique blend of music and mysticism. Meanwhile, in the realm of secular music, the troubadours, poet-musicians in medieval France, began to create songs that focused on themes of courtly love, chivalry, and nobility. These troubadours influenced music across Europe, performing for both royalty and common people. This was the beginning of an expansion of music outside the church that would continue for centuries. Together, developments in polyphony, musical modes, and music notation, as well as the influence of sacred music, catapulted music forward and laid the foundations for music in the next era, the Renaissance.